in Wuhan.
Well, it's time to have a look through the papers this morning, once again with theologian Vicky Beeching and the actor Tamer Hassan. Morning, you two. Let's kick off, Vicky, with the Mail on Sunday, should we? Kids who are thin on the outside, fat on the inside. How does that work?
I know, it's some new research out of the London Metropolitan University, and they're saying that the BMI, body mass index measurement system, is usually used to measure the sort of healthy weight for children, and they're saying that it's actually quite... it can misconstrue the data. So you can get some children who are actually receiving letters sent home to their parents saying they're overweight, when actually they're just very muscular and sporty, and that the BMI model actually doesn't find a particular kind of kid that they're calling toffee or toffee, and that's thin outside, fat inside, and it's children who actually look very thin and skinny, but actually inside them they're carrying a lot of extra fat around their organs. So they're saying there's about 1 million of these children that are likely to fall into this category.
How do you know?
Well, they need new ways of measuring it, so I think they're really just flagging the fact in this research that the BMI model is not finding these kids, that they are really at risk, and they're blaming it a lot on the kind of sedentary lifestyle. The fact there's lots of sitting, lots of gaming, rather than...
That makes sense.
There's a classic line there that says that children would rather play video games than hopscotch. I'm not sure that anybody really plays hopscotch anymore, but I get what they mean. So,
But then, as you say, that muscle does weigh more than fat, so it doesn't mean that you're unhealthy if your weight's perhaps over the recommended BMI.
Doesn't allow for that, apparently. So they're just saying we need new ways to kind of see them more invisible. They're calling it invisible fat, just to make sure these children really are being cared for.
So is it diet or exercise?
Well, both.
Both.
Yeah.
I have enough issues with the fat I can see rather than...
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking exactly that as we ate our breakfast in the green room.
I'll sit like this from now on.
Yeah. Honestly. Taxidermy, Tamer, in the Independent on Sunday. It's quite good, this, if you want to...
It's back in fashion, isn't it?
Yeah, it's back in fashion, but you can stuff it and eat it.
Oh, come on.
So wrong, first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's bad, isn't it? Look, all right, let's put it into perspective and say you wouldn't want to eat your little puppy, would you, your little chihuahua?
No.
If you flip the coin on it and you go and want to stuff a big fish that you've caught, a 20-pound salmon, and the taxidermy says, do you want to keep the meat? You kind of go, yeah, because that's a lot of money there, salmon. But I don't know about, but they're doing it next Saturday and Sunday, I think, at Tobacco Dock somewhere, and they're challenging people to come over and eat what they stuff. Hence, they're saying they don't want to waste any of it.
It does depend what you're stuffing, though, doesn't it?
It's definitely it's more suited to kind of like sports kill, isn't it, rather than your pet fluffy chihuahua, like you say. You wouldn't want
that looks like a pheasant, does it?
Why would people want... I don't know.
So it puts a new meaning on stuff your face, doesn't it? To be...
But it depends what... if it's roadkill or something, it's what do you do? Is it a fresh kill? Is it roadkill? What is it?
I don't like the idea of roadkill.
No.
I don't really like the idea of any of this. It's so creepy.
Sunday morning,
off my porridge.
wake up everybody now.
No.
Half my porridge left in the green room and I'm not going to eat it now.
No, that'll be fine.
Eating chihuahuas in a taxidermy class.
The Sunday Express has got a preacher heading to London to make millions from his miracles, so it says.
This is a really interesting feature in the Express. It jumped out to me just because most of the commentary work I do is on religion, and they're saying in this piece that there's actually an increase in American televangelists coming over to the UK and having their kind of crusades, and it was particularly this billboard, I think, that caught the journalist's eye, and it's a big billboard advertising this Maurice Cirillo campaign that's coming to Earl's Court, and it says that miracles may be seen. And it's just really raising the question of whether or not any medically verifiable miracles have ever happened under this man's ministry, and this article is saying they haven't. But at the same time, he's got a personal wealth of 30 million and lives in a kind of development with retired sports
makes me
stars.
a little uneasy. And when you see a lot of these televangelists on their shows, they have the list of you can pay by credit card.
Well, that's what they're saying about this.
Bottom.
Yeah, 7 different ways to donate, apparently, when the programme's broadcast. And yeah, my kind of main comment on this is really just to say this kind of Christianity makes me very uncomfortable as a Christian, because if you look at the way Jesus did miracles, it was actually quite private. He actually told some of the people he healed not to tell anyone.
Yeah.
And I think with these kind of campaigns, when you advertise miracles on billboards, if you go to that and you're unwell and you don't get healed, often you hear people saying, well, God obviously doesn't love me, or you know,
Well,
I didn't have enough faith.
It's
so
just
quite damaging.
unkind if it gives people false hope.
Yeah,
with
I think
no
you should, you know,
results.
faith should be about believing in something. If anything ever happens to you that is miraculous, that's kind of a sort of added extra. And I think these kind of things make it almost sound like the reason to sign up. So this sort of advertising makes me very uncomfortable.
It doesn't sort of sit
It's a
right,
con.
does it?
No.
Doesn't
I've said
sit
it.
right. Yeah,
Well, I've said it.
Well,
It's a
look, I think a lot of people would agree with you. They, of course, would disagree. We can't get their side of it this morning, but I'm sure you've all got views on that at home. The Observer has got a question about ethnic minority actors need a bigger range of roles, it's saying.
Yes, this has been an issue with me for many, many years. How can I start this? I do think that producers, filmmakers and studios, whatever it may be, should broaden their minds a little bit. To me, your ethnicity or your colour or where you're from shouldn't affect your talent. Whether you're black, white, Chinese, whatever it is, you're talented, you're talented. And I think they should broaden their minds a little bit. Because I get, I mean, most of the films I've been on, most of the people go, you'd make a great James Bond. And I'm like, thank you. But I'm never going to get it.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because it's just what's been said and how people are, and the film industry, how it is now. I mean, Idris Elba, I think, would be a great Bond. I know him, he's a friend. Colin Salmon, in Bond, be Bond. You know, for
It was
me,
rumoured that he was going to be the first.
It's always
Bond,
rumours.
isn't it?
There's always
But I
rumours.
mean, eventually it's going to happen.
It's got to
isn't it?
happen.
Yeah.
It's got to happen, and I'm really hoping it happens sooner, because I get offered a lot of terrorist roles because of the way I look. I love British rom-coms. I love period stuff, you know, but people say, oh, you're not the right look. And then all of a sudden,
anything to do with that,
no,
should it?
I
As
get
you said, it should
Dracula,
be
which
just
is
talent,
it should be
purely
your talent. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Eddie Murphy can play a white man.
Yeah.
You know, it's makeup, it's prosthetics. We're actors. We're there to play different roles. I mean, 12 Years a Slave, great, brilliant. You know, Eddie was brilliant in it, but it's given for that role. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, it's there for that role. As a terrorist, people come to me all the time and say, "Why don't you play a terrorist role?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to do it. It's not what I want to do."
Well,
And I
it's
keep turning them
predictable now
down.
for
It's
you,
very, very
doesn't it?
predictable.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, I love British rom-coms, and I've tried to get in them, and they said no. So I went and wrote something for me. And I'm going to go and make it. So
fantastic.
that's how I see it, you know. If Barbara Broccoli called me and said, "Would you like Bond?" I'd say, "Yes, please."
Yeah,
But then
so
again,
would I.
somebody asked me, "What would you prefer, Bond or Batman?"
Oh, that's pretty
That's
tough.
a tough
What would
one,
you go
isn't
for?
it?
Which
Tough
one?
one.
I'm not going to answer
Look,
it.
important 2 points. If you're doing your own movie, me and Gillian want extra parts.
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
And did you say you
I'll make the
knew
tea.
Idris Elba?
Yeah, I know.
Because
this.
you're going to have to bring him in. You've got to bring him in because Gillian has been talking about getting Idris on
There
the
you go.
set for a long time.
Idris, if
We're
you're
big
watching,
fans here.
we're doubling up on the next one. All right?
Yeah.
Me and you, Idris, if you're watching.
I'm sure he's
do it.
watching over his
My
cornflakes,
son, he
right.
just directed a short film with my son in the lead, which was lovely,
Oh,
and I got
right.
to see him there. And
Wow.
very talented man.
Yeah,
very
he is.
talented man.
It'd be interesting because Gillian would not be able to speak. It should be quite interesting.
looking
the entire
too, isn't he?
morning.
That would be great
There
just
we
to see
go.
that.
Lovely. Guys, we're going to take just a very short break. Back with another paper in just a moment. So looking at the papers with Vicky and with Tama, go through your pockets this morning because you might have a freakish 2p coin,
You might.
which
Yeah.
could be worth
This
a
is
fortune.
incredible. This is the coin that we all wish we'd found. So, apparently in 1998, a random person opened a pack of coins in their petrol station, and they found a 2p piece that was the wrong colour. Instead of being bronze, it had been cast in the silver colour that you'd find for a 10p piece or a 5p piece. And it's thought to be the only one of its kind, and that it would have been made by a machine that had the kind of silver metal in, and it had just finished the last little bit on one coin. So this person in 1998 found it, and it's finally been taken up for auction. It's going to be auctioned on Friday, and they think that this 2p piece is actually going to get over £1,000. So I say go through your change carefully before you spend it, just in case your 2p piece is actually worth £1,000.
Be fantastic,
Lovely
wouldn't
little
it?
find.
I think it should be worth more than £1,000 if it's the only one.
Yeah.
Maybe it will. I mean,
Maybe
they're
that's the
kind of
starting
sort of
price,
saying that's
sort
what they imagine, but
And to be honest, do you know what? If you had a spare grand floating about, not many of us do, but
Buy
the
it.
nice thought,
Buy
because it's only going to go up in value, isn't
yeah.
it? It's
And they're
actually
saying
quite
there
a good
probably will never
investment.
be another one like it because
Coins
they
are worth
don't
fortunes,
really make
isn't there?
mistakes.
I know a lot of people that trade coins, friends of mine that have coin companies. absolutely coining it in. Pardon the pun.
The things I always wish I'd done now, you know, it's too late now,
Yeah.
too late. Guys, you're back. We'll get a third hit out of you today, so
Yeah.
we'll see you in an hour. Look
Okay.
forward to that, but let's just get a quick check on the weather for you.